Good morning, everyone. Leah Dixon here from Port Coquitlam, British Columbia. I am live today with the Festive and Fun card class to go. So every week I do a card class to go on Wednesday mornings. The basic idea behind it is I will create 3 cards with you, and then with a $60 order or more, I will mail out the make and take kits for you to make 2 of each of the 3 card designs that I create this morning. So today you can see over on this screen, I've actually got just Memento black ink, my Festive and Fun stamp set, and a whole bunch of blends. I do love using the blends, but you actually don't need to use them. If you've got markers, watercolor, pencil crayons, whatever it is that you enjoy using for coloring, that works. Even just a blender pen along with your ink pads will work to color these very, very cute images in. So that's basically how my card class to go works. If you have any questions about that, feel free to message me or ask me in the comments on this video. And I'm going to switch over to just my desktop so we can get started stamping. All right, so this is the absolutely adorable Festive and Fun stamp set. Good morning, Kim. And I love these little guys. I'm not a huge coloring fan, but these guys are pretty tiny. The bits that you color are small, so I actually don't mind it. And they're amazing. I forgot to grab it. I wanted to let you know that what's super cool about these is they actually coordinate with our Zany Zoo critters. So in terms of like the drawing and the like how they would match up with sentiments and stuff. So like even if you had like a friend with a Christmas birthday or something, you could grab our little moose here with his cake and pop in a happy birthday to you instead of something festive. Or I always think of this llama and her knitting. Like to me, that's so Christmassy. So the little llama with some red, green, and white striped knitting happening there, and then a little something for you with lots of love from me. So, you know, they really do kind of go together really, really nicely. I know, isn't that awesome, Kim? It was the same artist who created the 2. And so, yeah, they just work so beautifully together, both with being the line drawings and the same style of character. So enough about that. You can see here, I actually have an empty stamp case because I am literally using every stamp in this set to create the 3 cards today. And all of our stamping is going to be done with Memento black ink. And then we'll add our color with our blends and our DSP. Now, I usually try to stick to one DSP, but you're going to see this time around, I'm actually using 2 different DSPs because I really wanted some plaid, and the Merry Bold and Bright DSP that I'm using on 2 of the cards does not have any plaid, but that's okay. I found some. So this is our first card. This is a layout. I can't remember now where I saw it. I've seen it a few times in different variations, but I just love that idea of like the 3 strips of DSP in the background. So you can totally change it up and make it whatever you'd like. I am absolutely in love with the Fa La 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 paper from the Merry Bold and Bright DSP set. So that's what I have used. So your kit will come with everything you need times 2. And so I'm going to set that one off to the side though, because I have already made one of mine. So I just have enough here to make one more. So we have our stamping to do. I'm going to do my stamping first. And this one is actually pretty easy to stamp and line up. So I'm going to grab my Rhino and my Memento black ink. And I like to put my ink to the image when I'm using larger ones like this, because it is a fairly large image. And then we want to stamp our Rhino as far over to the left as you possibly can without obviously going off the page. Okay, there we go. We have our Rhino stamped. And then we're going to grab our May Your Season Be the One That's Festive and Fun. And we're going to get our black ink again. This one's small enough I didn't have to do it that way, but I'm running out of space on my desk. So, and then this should just fit in. Oh no. Oh, I can't stand it when I do that. I just got the black rims. I should have checked before. Darn it. All right. Well, we'll figure out a way to hide those. There's always a way. All right. So may your season be the one that's festive and fun, stamped in black. And so that fits just beautifully here onto our second largest radiating stitches die. And so that's going to be die cut for you in your kit. But in case you're wondering what that is, it's the radiating stitches. All right. So we're going to have to figure out a way to hide up that little bit of a mess. I think we'll just incorporate it into our drawing. So next thing to do is to color this little guy. And it's actually pretty quick and simple. I'm going to start at the top of my stack of blends, and we're going to start with our dark poppy. Dark poppy parade. And I'm going to color all the bits that should be dark. Now there's two ends on these. I'm using the thin end. And so I'm going to, and you want a very light touch. The harder you press, the wider this one will go. So I'm like almost not touching the paper. Like it's so gentle. All right, so I've done my bow. And then I'm going to start at the top of his scarf, and I'm going to do every third stripe. So I'm doing one, leaving two, doing one, leaving two. When I cross over here, though, I'm going to do that first one, and then I'm doing the two tops, like that, and then over here, I'm going to do the top one, skip two, just like that. All right, now also all of our little birdies scarves, and not the rim or the pom-pom, but just the top of the toque, the earmuff, top of the toque, scarf. There we go. And that is it for our dark poppy parade. Oh, thanks. Yeah, the layout's great with these words. It's too bad I messed up my stamping, but I don't know. I'm still thinking on that. All right. Next color we're going to use is our light poppy parade. And so on our scarf, I'm going to come in and color the slot beside the dark one that I colored. And so just like that, just like that, just like that. All right. And that's all of them. Excellent. So that gives us a red, and white striped scarf, and it just looks kind of super cheery and fun. The light poppy parade almost looks pink when it's beside the dark like that. All right, and then I'm going to color in two of the gifts with my light poppy parade. There we go. And this one I'm coloring around that bow. So we're going to color that bow in with green. I do love the blends because they do exactly that. They blend, and so we don't see our lines and our, we don't see where we've applied the ink. We don't see the stripes and stuff. So I like that. All right. We are done with our light poppy parade. Now we're going to go in and grab our dark shaded spruce. And there we go. Again, using that fine tip end. Oh, actually, you know what? I should double check this. This might not be dark. No, it's not. Okay, because I've started, I'm just going to do a few dots in the dark. It's actually our light that we want, not our dark. So I'm going to grab my light and finish that up. So I just did a few dots with the dark, and so it'll add some texture and shading on that wreath. And I'll color in the rest of the wreath with the light shaded spruce. And then same over here with the gifts. Oh no, I just colored his pom-pom. Oh well. I guess that's done. It's got a green pom-pom. Actually, I can go back in If you do mess that kind of thing up, we don't currently have a white marker or anything, but I actually have some white chalk markers just like by Sharpie. And so you can go back and make your pom-pom white again if you want. All right, and I'm just coloring all of the ribbons and the one gift in light shaded spruce. And then I think I'm going to go back in. Oh, this lid on my dark shaded spruce can get so sticky. Of course, I'm wearing white, so I'm like trying hard not to get ink on myself. Oh my goodness. Okay. Nope, my hands are not working today. We're not going to do that in dark. I'm going to actually just skip it and we'll go over it one more time in the shaded. Sometimes my hands are not strong enough to open up these blends. There we go. I just did a second pass over it in my light shaded spruce and that just pops it out a bit. Now I am going to grab my little white marker. Oh, that's right. Where did it go? Oh, there it is. So I just have a little white chalk marker by Sharpie, and I'm just going to go and pop my little white pom-pom back in. There we go. All right. One time it came apart. Oh no, Kim. I've not had that happen, but my hands just sometimes, they're not the greatest with stuff like that, especially in the mornings. All right, so you can tell I really like doing like all the small coloring. So we're going to do the birds next. I'm going to take my dark Tahitian tide and just do a little across the wings and the bottoms of the tails in dark Tahitian tide. And then I'm going to grab my light Tahitian tide. The whole time I am using my fine tip point. These are just, the spaces are too tiny to use the brush end. It's way too tiny. All right, and we're going to color in our sweet little birds with light Tahitian tide now. There we go. All right, so that's done. Now we are going to use our pecan pie on this card as well. I'm going to use my dark pecan pie to create my little wooden sled here. So I'm just coloring in like that. This is kind of why I laid all my colors out, because I'm like, oh, if I don't do this, I'm going to forget to use a color and we're going to end up at the end and not have everything colored. All right. We're not going to use our light pecan pie on this one, but we are going to use our dark smoky slate. And I am going to do the rails on our sled. That's dark smoky slate for that. And then I'm going to take my dark smoky slate. I'm going to do his skates. Now, if you have black, you could go ahead and use light black for these as well. I'm just going to do a double coat of dark smoky slate and not bring out a second, like not a second, but another color. All right, I'm also going to do his horn in the dark. And I'm going to accent his ears along his jawline, down his backside, including his tail, accent his arms, and just the backs of his legs and the underside of his arm, just like that with my dark. And then I'm going to grab my light smoky slate. You like to do that as well. Yeah. And I'm going to use the fine tip again. I know it's a larger space, so you're tempted to grab that thicker end, but I just find for the blending piece, and also because we are working in some smaller spaces, I am going to use the the fine tip end of my light smoky slate, and I'm going to color in kind of a circular motion, especially as I'm near the parts where I've done the shading. Now be careful here that you don't go over his eye. You don't need gray eyeballs. Okay. So yeah, although he is a larger image, he really doesn't need, like, he can be broken down into smaller bits, and so he doesn't need that big end. Okay. There we go. And then his body. So again, we do have some smaller spaces here because like our scarf is in the way and stuff like that. So just come in. It helps with the blending there too. All right, and I'm almost out of smoky slate. Time to replace it. Whew, good thing this is my last rhino of the day. All right. Yeah, my smoky slate has gotten a lot of use between the Rhino Ready stamp set and then creating cards with this little guy. It's been quite well used, so not surprising that it's getting low. All right, so that little sweetie is colored in. We'll put that off to the side. We don't have any crumb cake on this card. And now finally I'm going to take my dark Daffodil Delight, fine tip again, because we're just peeking in and grabbing those little beaks on our three little birds. Almost not even noticeable that we did that. Now I am going to grab, I'm actually just going to use a fine tip Sharpie because I don't know where my Stampin' Right marker is right now. Just to, oh, maybe I won't. Nope, that one is dried out and done. Okay, let's see what else I have. I'm just going to use a black ballpoint pen to put in that circle around his toque again. There we go. All right, so that is all colored. So this card does take a little bit longer because of the coloring, but then the rest of the card just flies together. I still have to figure, I think I'm going to place pearls and stuff and cover it up that way. Oh, actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to actually make the hunt for my black pen. We're going to put in some motion lines. All right, where is it? Okay, that's too white. Where's my black? Okay, close enough. I found an espresso marker. It'll have to do. So it's very fine tipped. And we're just going to add in, I'm actually going to add just a few more lines here. And here I'm going to make like some little music notes as though my little birdie is singing. There we go. So now those little marks that I created by not being a careful stamper are just part of the image. It would have been better if I had found my actual black marker, but whatever. All right, so we've got that and we're ready to actually put this card together. Now this goes so quickly, you guys. Oh, as long as I have glue at my desk. Oh my goodness. There we go. I was doing some movie night crafting upstairs during all the trick-or-treating. And so it's all, I forgot to put it back on my desk. It's all in a little basket. We watched the sweetest movie last night called Marcel the Shell with Shoes. We didn't want to have something too scary on our TV because with the little trick-or-treaters and they can see in the front window, we had the blinds open so we could see when people were coming. And so we watched Marcel the Shell with Shoes. It is adorable. All right. So I did leave just the tiniest little strip of white there before gluing down the first DSP. These are not cut in any particular order. They're just little strips of DSP. You don't even have to do all of them the same DSP. I just wanted to because I'm obsessed with this fa-la-la. To me, it's just so festive, and it actually works really well with those little music notes that they'd be out caroling as they deliver gifts. There we go. So there's very few things you can do to a card that you can't cover up with a rhinestone or some other little thing. Put a ribbon over it. Oh, the Disney movies are great. All right. So with that done, we're going to attach this to our card base using dimensionals. You could glue it down if you wanted, but I always like to pop things up. So every corner, of course, and then depending on how dimensional crazy you are, I am, I'm going to do a second rectangle and pop up the center. All right, so a little overkill in some people's opinions, I'm sure, but that's okay. Now, make sure you put this down so that the stripes are towards the opening of your card. Okay, there we go. And then this guy is going to pop on with dimensionals as well. There we go. Now that I have those little music notes on there, I almost wanted to emboss that with our Merry Melodies embossing folder. There'd be musical notes behind the fa-la-las as well. All right. So that is going on kind of as centered as can be. It does overlap all three. And there we go. Then we have, this is a piece of Azure Afternoon, and it is actually part of a 3-pack, but we're only using the Azure because I find I use the pink and the yellow a lot at other times of year. So you get all 3 colors together in 1 pack. And yeah, I find in the summertime I used a lot of my yellow and pink, but my poor blue was being neglected. So it was just the perfect complement with those cute little bluebirds on the image. Just 2 bunny ears, wrap them around each other, and then really wiggle this around to get a tight little bow that's the right size for what you want. And that, of course, is personal preference. Some people like really big floppy bows. Some people like really tiny, cute bows. It's going to be all about personal preference. Once you get that bow how you like it, then you can trim up those ends. I gave you more ribbon than you need because you need more to be able to actually tie it. There we go. There's my garbage bin back up here. And then this guy actually gets attached with a mini glue dot. So I take my bow, I find my glue dot, I put the back side of the knot right onto my mini glue dot, peel that off of the packaging so I've not touched the mini glue dot at all, and then down here to the corner and put that on just like that. So that's going to hold it all in place. Okay, there we go. And then the final touch to these is we're going to add some iridescent pearls, which I feel like I did not. No, I did not. I did not pull out. So when you get your iridescent pearls, they actually do come in 2 different sizes. I apparently love the larger, oh, sorry, no, the iridescent ones, oh yeah, they do. Yeah, they come in 2 sizes. I apparently absolutely love the larger ones because I only have 2 left. So on these cards, I kind of decided, you know what, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to use all smalls. So that is exactly what I've done, is I just used small ones, and I actually think it turned out fine. There we go. And just kind of popped those around. So you can see here we do have the larger and then the smaller. But yeah, that's it. Oh, thanks, Kim. Yeah, it's a super fun set to work with. Absolutely love it. And then for my envelope, because I do always like to decorate my envelopes, they have just this one lone little birdie with his little toque and scarf. Oh, man, I am not having a good time today with those little black lines. I gotta really watch that. So I just popped one of him on the front, and we're gonna just quickly color in his toque, his scarf, like that. Do his little beak in dark daffodil delight. And grab our 2 Tahitian tides to color him in those darker lines and color him in light. So he's our little Santa bird. There we go. And he is all done there. And we'll just blame that little black mark on the postman. Oh, hopping motion lines. Yeah, we could do that too. I'm going to blame it on the postman. So that's our first card using that set. Our second card is my Ultra Canadian. I seem to be on a kick where I'm doing these Ultra Canadian cards. We've got the moose, we've got the beaver, we've got the plaid. So your kit will come with everything you need to make 2 of this. Your plaid circles are even pre-cut. And this plaid actually comes out of a set I would have never thought I'd use. It's the Joy of Christmas DSP, and it's a beautiful one, but not one that I would have paired up with these cute critters, because it's mostly like watercolor greenery and stuff. But we've got the green and the red plaid in there, and so it won a spot on this card because I love plaid. So this card, we have our shaded spruce base, and I am going to just glue my back, my center in right now. Just get that out of the way. You could do a plaid stripe in here for sure if you wanted, just to get something going on the inside of the card, but I am just going to skip that and leave it super plain and just a nice spot to write a message. Okay, there we go. And then our card front, I am going to go ahead and glue down our whole front as well. This is a piece of basic white, and too many men in my life, that's for sure. And men don't care about the inside being decorated. So this one's been embossed with the Snowflake Sky 3D embossing folder. And so we're just gluing that one straight down as well. This is where we make up some time for all that coloring on the first card. This one is just glue it, glue it, glue it. So with that done, we're now going to take our not stamped on circle yet and our not stamped on crumb cake strip yet. And we're going to put some glue on the back of our green plaid circle. And this is going to, we're going to say, okay, that's about where I'd like it. I do want my stripes going straight up and down. Don't ask. The direction of the stripes of the plaid matters to me. So I'm going to glue that one down. I'm going to kind of put this back in place so that I can see I've got circle below, no circle below, and then my red one. And yes, the other side is nice too with the little musical notes. The red one we're going to glue down. Oh, too much glue. Oh my goodness. Let's scoop up some of that. Yikes. The red one we're going to glue down, and yes, the direction does matter to me. I want my plaid stripes going that way. So I'm going to move this out of the way and place that like that. So that's kind of how I got my card started. Now we can put it all off to the side, and we've got 3 pieces left to stamp on. Our little square is our beaver, and I'm sorry, especially Susan, if you're watching, I apologize tremendously because I know you cannot stand fussy cutting. There we go. So we've stamped our little beaver onto that square. We're going to find our moose, and we're going to stamp our moose onto, I always laugh when I say this, the right side of the circle, because, you know, circles have sides. So find the right side of your circle and stamp it there. All right. Yay, no lines on these ones. I'm getting the hang of it. All right, and then we have our sentiment to stamp. I'm actually going to trim the end of mine first. It's balloon placement, I think, with the direction too. Yeah. All right, so I'm going to use my Banners Pick-a-Punch. I'm taking my crumb cake strip and just popping that in there. If you don't have the Banners Pick-a-Punch, just grab a pair of snips and snip the end. It's no biggie. All right, and then I'm going to stand this upright. I like to do my stamping vertically. It just helps me. Now, I have to pay a bit more attention because I went and trimmed the end. The joy of this one, the way I originally did it, was I didn't have to look. So I want to make sure my wishes is towards my trimmed end and kind of as far over as, actually, it doesn't have to be. I had done that originally to tie a ribbon, but I decided I didn't like it. All right. So that is stamped on there. Now, I don't like how that's stamped. I'm going to just flip it over and do that again. I don't think I inked it up right. The happy looked a little faded. All right. So make sure your wishes is towards your cut end. And there we go. That's better. So we've got our happy Christmas wishes on there to go onto our card. So that can go to the side because that's done. These 2 little guys we need to color. And so I'm going to start at the top of my pile here again. And I'm going to use my dark Poppy Parade. And I'm going to use my fine tip because when I did my original sample, I didn't. And I ended up going out of the lines. So I'm using my fine tip for this whole thing again. And I'm not going to use my light Poppy Parade on this one. Even though I would have liked to add some like shading and stuff, I just find when it's next to the dark, it really looks pink. And I didn't want that. So we're going to use all dark. Now you could probably pop in here with like a dark real red or something to do extra shading if you wanted to really have like texture to this. There we go. Or you can just take your dark Poppy Parade and, you know, do a couple extra passes. Just be careful when you're out near the edges because it might bleed out. And then I'm also going to use this to do the dot on the holly and to put some red dots into our fruitcake. There we go. Oh, and while I've got my dark Poppy Parade, let's do our candy cane as well. So I started with the tip and then every second one. Although you could do this in the 3-tone like I did the scarf on our rhino. That would be cute too. But I thought just keep it all dark. Okay. Then we are going to use our dark shaded spruce. If I can get the lid off. Oh, I can. There we go. And I'm just doing the little lines on the center of the holly. And then I'm going to color the rest of the holly with my light shaded spruce. I think shaded spruce is my favorite green this year for the holidays. I really like how it looks with like all colors actually. All right, we've got that. We have no Tahitian tide on this card. We do have a bit of pecan pie. So let's get started with that. So I'm going to use our dark pecan pie for our beaver's tail, nose, and feet. So there's his little nose. There's his little feet. So this is dark pecan pie. And for his tail. And I am going to go over and do a second coat on all of that afterwards. All right, now I'm going to use my light pecan pie to color in our beaver. And be careful to stay away from his little teeth. We don't want brown teeth. I know technically beaver's teeth are like quite yellow actually, but we're going to leave these nice and Christmassy white. He's just been to the dentist and gotten all spruced up for the holidays. There we go. Color him in. And then I am going to come back and just do a few more passes on the bottom of his jaw, in his ears, along his back, and along the bottom of that little arm and hand, just to give it some shading. And now that I've done that, I'm going to come back in again, do his nose one more time in dark pecan pie, do his feet one more time in dark pecan pie, and do the cross hatching on his tail. Not going to do the whole tail, just the cross hatching. There we go. So that gives him a lot of shading, a lot of dimension to him. He's so cute. Oh my goodness. Now we need to give a little bit of loving to our moose. I am going to use my light pecan pie for his little cake here. There we go. So light pecan pie for our cake. And I'm going to pop down and grab my light smoky slate for his tray here. There we go. And then we're going to use, this is light crumb cake, and we're going to do his antlers in light crumb cake. I didn't want to give them a ton of color, but I didn't want to leave them white either. There we go. Oh, and sorry, we're going to do his hooves as well in light crumb cake. There we go. And then finally, we're going to grab our dark pecan pie. We're going to do some darkness on the ears, darkness on the eyes, darkness in the nostrils, run along the bottom edge of his face, down the back of his leg, his little tail, the back of his other leg. There we go. And then our light pecan pie to blend that and color him in. All right. There. So, although coloring's not my favorite, I do find these guys are just like cute little sections, easy to color. So it's not so bad. There we go. And there is our sweet little moose. I know he is darling, Kim. Oh my goodness. So sweet. All right, now before we put all of this together, we have to fussy cut our little beaver. So I grab my snips here. Oops. There we go. And turn my scissors around. There we go. All right. I did leave the tiniest little white border around him. I find that's way easier than trying to cut on the black line, because when you cut the black line, you have to make sure you don't cut too much of the black line. Otherwise, your shape doesn't have the same kind of, like, I don't know, it just doesn't stand out as nicely as a line drawing if you've cut off part of the line. Now, I am crazy. I'm going all the way into that candy cane. And then this is where you twist your paper, not your scissors, to really do that cut. And so I'm just really slowly closing my scissors as I twist my paper through these curvy bits. And all the way in. There we go. Although he's quite simple, he's a lot fussier cutting than a lot of things that I fussy cut. Yeah, if you don't want to do that really crazy curl around the candy cane like I did, just leave a bigger white border, and then it won't look like you skipped out on parts. And there we go. Oh, I love the charm thing, because when we go places, I know which snips are mine at the end of the day. So yeah, if I do crafting with other people, it can get a little confusing as to who's whose. So now we're going to take our circle. I'm going to put some dimensionals on the back of this. Grab those again. And so I'm putting them into the 4 imaginary corners and one in the middle. This is our largest circle, so it's quite large. It needs some center support. Now, before I truly pop this down, though, I am going to take a look at where I want it, so that I'm definitely still getting some green circle below my guy, and so that his feet will be flat on his Merry Christmas. All right, now we're going to put one dimensional out here, one dimensional out here, and then a little dab of glue for the rest of it, because it's going to go across here. So I'm just going to do, there we go, add a little dab of extra glue on my glue stick, like that. And now I want to line this up under his feet and at the white edge. And straight, of course. There we go. All right. Now, where'd our beaver go? There he is. I'm just putting one dimensional on the back of our beaver, right on his body. And we're going to attach him to our circle. Make sure his tail doesn't cover up any words, but have him kind of sitting right there on that little line. And then I'm going to finish up with using some of our iridescent pearls to decorate our open spaces here. There we go. Just like that. So that is our second card in our Festive and Fun card class this week. And now, sorry, our envelope, I almost forgot. Oh my goodness. I am putting the beaver on there because, well, any chance I have to, any chance I have to stamp this little guy, I will. And so I'm going to put him into the left corner. I'm going to make him sit kind of flat over there. Normally I would do him like off, but I really like having his tail visible. It's just so cute. And it makes him, not look like a little rat. That tail is kind of important. All right, there's this little candy cane. We'll do our little dark spots. Little feet. You might find that your blends color a little bit differently on the envelope, so just be really quite light in your touch on the envelope. Different papers react differently with the blends, so just be nice and light. And stay away from the eye. Stay away from the teeth. There we go. It's so cute. Oh my goodness. It's easy to see how cute they are, but when you're spending time really looking at them because you're coloring them, then it becomes very apparent how adorable he is. Nose. And we'll come back in one more time with our light just to accent some areas. There we go. All right. So sweet. All right. So there's our cute little beaver. How adorable. Okay. Now our third card is very non-traditional colors. But then again, so is a Santa giraffe. Very non-traditional. So your kit will come with everything you need to make 2. My kit has my 1 in it. So here we go. Let's pull all these pieces out. There we are. And I'm just going to grab the 1 piece of basic white and the 1 circle that's been punched for you. And we're going to start with those pieces and put everything else off to the side so we don't get too crowded here. Move our cute little beaver out of the way. So our sentiment is a little something for you with lots of love from me. And it fits beautifully in this 1 3/4 inch punch. Now I do try to center it, but my ability to do that in a circle is not always great. There we go. Not bad today. Good. So we're going to put that off to the side now. And then we have our piece of basic white, and I'm going to stamp our giraffe image all the way over to the left-hand side. All right. So now I do have this guy on the I block, but he also fits on the E block that I had the rhino on. So that is one thing about this set, is if you don't have a wide variety of blocks, you do need a slightly larger block for these guys. They are tall and wide and all the things. All right. So ink that up nicely. And here we go. I am using the basket of ornaments to help me line this one up. And so I use the corner of that down in the corner there. And while I still have this guy out, I'm going to ink him up again. Just his head though. And grab my envelope. And in the bottom right-hand or left-hand corner, we're just going to stamp him and the top of the tree there. So that's our little bit for our envelope. So just so sweet there. All right. And now we get to start putting our card together. And then, actually no, let's color first. Otherwise our ribbon's going to get in the way. So this little guy, we don't need to worry about any coloring on our sentiment stamp, so we're just going to worry about coloring this. We're going to start with our dark Poppy Parade again, and I'm going to color in the toque on our giraffe on our card and our envelope. So there we go. And on our card, I'm also going to color in the 3 berries on our holly and my little bow on my tree. There we go. That is it for our dark poppy parade. Now our light poppy parade gets a lot more fun. I'm going to do some of the ornaments. So a little stripe there, little stripe there, a little bit there and there, and down here and over here. So lots of little bits on all the ornaments that get our light poppy parade. There we go. All right, now our tree. I'm actually going to save our green, and I'm going to do that afterwards, after we've finished all these ornaments. So now I'm going to use my light Tahitian tide and color in the tops of my ornaments. And this guy gets the whole meal deal. There we go. Same with down here. And that one gets the top. That gets a stripe. There we go. Then I'm actually going to come back in with my dark Tahitian tide and do the stripe on that one and the dots on that one. There we go. So Tahitian tide is done. Our pecan pie, we are going to use our dark pecan pie for our one side of our tree, and then we're going to come in and use our light for the other side. There we go. All of our giraffe dots are going to be done in light pecan pie. So use a really gentle touch here. There's a lot of dots on this guy. Oh my goodness. There we go. Almost done. And then we'll do the ones on our envelope as well. And remember on our envelope to have an even lighter touch as we do those. There. All right. Okay, so that's our pecan pie. Oh, sorry, I forgot. Our dark pecan pie for our hooves. There we go, just the 2 show. Okay. Now we've got our smoky slate. I'm actually only using the light smoky slate, and for an almost invisible reason, I'm just doing the little ornament tops on like 4 of the ornaments. Oh, and I realized I forgot one of our Tahitian tide ornaments. There we go. Excellent. All right. Then we come down to our crumb cake. Crumb cake, I'm going to use the dark to do the inside of the basket handle, the front side of that box, and to come in and just do the edges of the box. Then I'm going to use my light crumb cake to color the rest of the box and to blend those edges. I would have done the whole thing in light crumb cake, but it just seemed too light and the edges kind of got lost. So there we go. That's done. Now we have our Daffodil Delight. I'm going to use my dark Daffodil Delight first for our star. There we go. And then I'm going to accent the ear, the bottom of his jaw, and down his neck on both sides, and down his arm, his arm and his body on both sides again. And then his legs just on the two outsides. All right, now we're going to take our light Daffodil Delight and we're going to blend all of that. And there we go. So it just creates a little bit of roundness to his neck. Creates that, like, I guess, cylinder effect. There we go. And so you definitely want the fine tip for this, although he's a very large giraffe. The bits that we're coloring are very small spaces. There we go. So that is almost, sorry, almost everything done. Oh, I realized I forgot the stripe across our basket there. Okay, and now I'm going to, I got my dark shaded spruce, and I'm going to run this underneath the kind of like branches, I guess, just on the underside of these though, not up the sides, so just on the bottoms. And then I'm going to take my light shaded spruce. Oh, sorry, I forgot to do my holly and the inside of my tree basket and the outside edge like that. All right, now I'm going to take my light shaded spruce. I'm going to color in my holly. I'm going to color in the pot that our tree is in. There we go. And I'm going to color in our tree. I just realized I forgot to do the rest of the coloring on our envelope, but you guys have seen how I'm doing this. So I just replicate the same thing, the same shading and everything on the envelope for our giraffe and our tree. And I am coloring over top of that dark shaded spruce that I put there to kind of help it blend as we go. You don't want to use too much though, like don't color over one spot too many times because these are alcohol-based markers and so they will kind of like run. That's how they actually do their blending. So just a nice light touch. There we go. And that is our tree all colored in. That's our sweet little image all done. So this one takes a little while to color, a little bit more detail in using those different shades to get like the nice look on the tree, but it's well worth it. I won't bother finishing coloring that for you guys. I'll do that later. We're going to put our card together now that we're done all of our coloring. So first thing I'm going to do is get my designer series paper and I'm going to glue it, oh my, to the edge over here. Now I think that I might not have trimmed this one properly. Let me grab my Tahitian tide and just double check. No, it's not bad. Okay, good. So I don't need to do too much cutting. So I'm going to glue this, but you can see it's not quite the right size. So I'm going to glue it so that it's flush with the bottom of this cardstock. And then I'm going to go trim off the top. So it's a fun pattern on the other side as well, but I really like the stripes. I don't know, they seem to help even accentuate how tall the giraffe is. So again, we're focusing on getting this lined up and flush with the bottom. I don't want to have to trim anything off the bottom. Our giraffe is already close enough to the bottom of this piece. So we'll get that all lined up there. And then I'm just going to go cut that little bit of white off so that we don't have that shown. All right, so that is all trimmed up. Now I have a piece of ribbon that we're going to attach. Oh no, sorry, too soon. We're going to attach this to our Tahitian tide now, and then we'll do our ribbon. Oh, thanks, Kim. Have a wonderful day. Yeah, this one's taking a little bit longer. We've got all this coloring to do, and I am not very fast at it. So here we go. We're going to glue this one in, and just like that. Once we've got that glued, we are going to take that ribbon and we're going to tie it around from top to bottom. Now, one side does have a bit more of the silver sparkle to it. Now, you don't need to tie a bow though. Isn't that nice? We are simply tying a knot, and you actually don't even need to tie your knot in the right spot to start. Just tie a knot that has equalish ends. There we go. And then we straighten that out and we move the knot around to wherever we would like it, up or down. And then we trim the ends. And like that. And like that. There we go. So we have our cute little knot on there now. And this is ready to go. Well, I'm going to straighten that out. Oh my goodness. This is ready to go onto our card front. So somewhere, there it is. Somewhere we had a thick basic white card base. And this just gets glued straight down onto there. Actually, before I do that, I'm just going to move my knot a little bit lower so it's not overlapping my tree. There we go. So there we go. Now my bow is just below my tree instead of over top of my tree. So now we will use our liquid glue to adhere this. So your glue stick does have two ends. I like to use that wider end so that I can kind of rub the glue around and make the layer of glue just a little bit thinner. All right. Let's give that a moment to grab hold. We're also going to use our liquid glue to... Oh, hi, Lila. Oh, thank you. It's a very sweet card. Sweet set, the Festive and Fun. So I'm just going to take some glue onto the back of our sentiment. Now, when I put this one down, though, I'm not centering it. I'm actually putting it over to the side like that so that it has a very thin border that progressively gets larger on this side. Okay, so that's how that one's going. And then we're going to pop that onto our card with dimensionals. Now I am going to use 2 dimensionals, but I'm trying to kind of put them off to the side so that they are not onto my ribbon. And then we can put one that's way out, but that will like extend past the ribbon. All right, so that's kind of the placement of those so that we don't get caught up with that ribbon. And then we pop that on there. And this is kind of your preference as to how high or low, but I did try to keep the sentiment straight. All right, and then the final thing for this one is to embellish with those iridescent pearls again. And this time I used quite a few actually. Stop. I could be using my Take Your Pick tool for this. So I did those ones up there, but then I also came down here and added in a few more. Okay, just like that. So quite a few iridescent pearls on this one. And then that is our finished card. So that was card number 3. I'm just going to bring them all out and show you guys again the 3 cards that are part of our weekly card class to go, the Festive and Fun weekly card class to go. So that's what we have designed this week, along with our sweet little envelopes and everything. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you're coloring fans, then this is definitely a set for you. And it's a great one. Just, I don't know, it's super fun. So thank you so much for joining me. And yeah, have a wonderful week. It's a new month, and so there will be some sales and stuff coming up in November, and new card classes, some in-person card classes if you live local to me, and I'll be at a ton of craft fairs. So, oh, thanks, Krista. If you are local to me I'm in Port Coquitlam, British Columbia, you can pop by and say hi to me. I'm going to be at the Terry Fox Christmas Craft Fair this Saturday. And then later in the month, I'm going to be at the Riverside Church Christmas Market. I'm going to be up at the Smiling Creek Christmas Market. So lots of chances to pop in, say hi, grab some cards. I'll have kits and stuff with me as well if you're looking for just some quick grab and go crafting, and some sign up for some in-person classes. So have a wonderful week, and yeah, bye.